So I've been reading this wonderful book, I'm rereading it now actually, all about the science of willpower and self-control. Fitness, kind of its important thing to have science to know what this willpower sort of thing is, rather than just saying, well, just have more of it and being like, well, what is it? How do we generate it? Where does it come from? That sort of stuff. Blanking on the authors right now. If you go to Amazon, just Google willpower, it'll pop right up, black cover on it and stuff. One of the things that they talk about, that interestingly enough, is that your ability to have willpower and self-control and be able to just make yourself work hard at something is like just regular energy in your body. Okay, so obviously if you spend a lot of your energy doing one kind of exercise, you just have less of it to do another kind of exercise, right? Well, that's the same thing with your willpower and your self-control. If you spend all day at work busting your butt and focusing your mental mind and saying, don't, punch the boss in the face, don't punch the boss in the face, put up with the noisy customers, well, then later on, if you go out and you're trying to be good on your diet and you're not trying to drink too much, you have less energy to be able to do that. All right? One of the interesting things that can help rejuvenate your self-control is sugar. And I'm not talking like a little bit of sugar, so I'm talking flat out orange juice, simple sugars, supposedly the worst thing you could possibly ingest. So that goes possibly to suggest that if sticking to a diet is really important and we need discipline and self-control to stick to the diet, then sugar will help us have more self-control, discipline, and willpower. So therefore, we should have sugar in the diet to improve your self-control and willpower so you don't break your diet. And that's why consuming sugar on a regular basis, pure sugar, can help you be healthier and lose weight. Now, if you think I'm completely off my rocker, you'd be partially right, because in the book, they do suggest, yes, consuming some sugar, they've done this in studies, consuming a simple sugar solution does boost self-control, discipline, and willpower, albeit temporarily. And then, of course, they talk about, well, if you consume too much, you can have a drop in blood sugar, and then that's going the opposite direction. You have even less willpower and self-control. But what I've just done is something that goes rampant within particularly our nutrition and dietary culture, but also our fitness culture. I like to call it Monty Python scientific reasoning. If you think of, I think it was the Holy Grail, where they have the woman weighing against the duck to see if she's a witch. And they're like, well, ducks float. What also floats? Wood. What does wood do? Burn. And what do witches do? They burn. So therefore, if she weighs as much as a duck, then she's a witch. And the thing that happens with this kind of reasoning, which happens exactly with my scientific reasoning behind why sugar is really good for weight loss and self-control, is because every single step of that logic is 100% true. There's nothing false about that, but the connections from one to the next are not necessarily correct. So that's the reason why we've got to be so damn careful when people are saying, oh, it's about the glycemic index, it's about inflammation, oh, it's about getting rid of sugar, or don't eat this and don't eat that and do all sorts of these things, is because it's based off of science and stuff that's been proven 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt in a lab, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to actually pan out in real life. And we've got to really watch out for this sort of thing, because it's rampant, and almost every dietary principle out there is based on this kind of thinking and reasoning. And it's also one of the most restrictive ways that you can literally put chains around you and bar yourself into a lifestyle that you don't have to adapt. That's what we're all about at the Red Delta Project and Fitness Independence. It drives me nuts when people are like, oh, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. Here, look at this. If it's about someone saying you should eat these foods but not eat those foods, it's a diet. It's not a frickin' lifestyle. And my God, I can think of 100 million things that I'd much rather base my lifestyle around than avoiding sugar or grains or meat or processed foods or whatever. To me, that should be the smallest, little, tiniest bit of my lifestyle. Hardly something I have to even think about. Because energy, right? We only have so much of it. And if you spend a lot of it towards some things, you got less of it for other things. And I'm all about being as efficient as possible so I can accomplish as much as possible. So a lot of topics with that one. Thoughts down below. Till then, be fit and live free.